Greetings and love to all the basketball fans all across the globe and especially in the old continent of Europe. This is NBA Accent. I wanted to say live, talking to you from Vilnius, Lithuania. You're not seeing this recording live, but at the moment it is the 5th of April. It has been a terrible day weather-wise here in Vilnius. We had some hail. I got caught in some hail. My bald head is all red. My mood is all messed up. But here we are to talk about the annual awards, the annual traditional NBA awards through a different lens. We will try to decipher which players are worth to be theoretically carrying home the trophies of, all the traditional trophies of MVP, the Rookie of the Year, the Defensive Player, and yada, yada, yada. Of course, we don't have any European coaches, so that by default is won by no one. And also, we tried to put our minds to nailing down 3 European All-NBA teams, which was a pretty difficult task because 56 European players started the season on fully guaranteed contracts in the NBA this year. So when you are trying to pick 15 players of that small number, it feels like voting on the best bird species in Antarctica, which apparently there are 46 of them. So it's nearly the same number.
If best bird species in Antarctica, it wouldn't be this kind of problem. But when you need to select best tropical bird in Antarctica, which is kind of a similar situation with certain positions in NBA, so we will go to that. So
still, you would be going like through, even if you are not specifying the birds to be tropical, you would go like, the penguin is the MVP, but we got like albatross, the gray albatross, the white albatross, the freaking striped albatross or whatever. You're just scraping the bottom of the barrel on a lot of these nominations, but that's why we are here. That's why we are trying to push through this agenda of talking about European basketball and hopefully getting some of your opinions on the online comment section. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and all of that bullshit. What would we like to start from? Do we want to start from the All-NBA teams or the awards to just strictly European NBA players of this season?
Well, I wrote my script starting from MVP.
Okay.
And in my mindset, I was prepared to start from the individual awards. I don't know why, but it maybe in reality, when the awards are announced, firstly they announce awards and only then all NBA teams.
I'm not
because
100%
I believe
sure,
that
but it might be.
was the controversy when Marc Gasol was determined DPOY, but he was announced voted into second All-NBA team, and it was really ridiculous. I don't remember which year was that, but
he was only voted once. The DPOY, I believe it had to be 2014, 15, or 16, one of these years.
Around that time. But actually, I think. Of course, this exercise has a lot of issues that you talked about, but I think this is one of the better years to have this kind of awards because some names are, definitely not from the bottom of the barrel. They are right on top of the barrel. So MVP, 3 of the candidates that we have.
I believe that there will be no discussions and no real banter about selecting someone that the other one wouldn't select. In my number 3 spot for the MVP award, talking strictly about the European players, I have Luka Doncic, I have Giannis at number 2, and I have Mykolas Jokic at number 1. I believe, I would presume that you have the very same trio on your list.
Yes, and actually Giannis done a lot of things during previous few weeks to deny this opinion and become number 1, but just regular season numbers for Mykolas Jokic are insane. He is the player with the highest box plus minus rating in history on the NBA.
And also the highest PER, if I'm not mistaken.
They are quite similar. Of course, if you filter out all the garbage players that like basically didn't play any minutes, but if you
and also, I'm sorry to interrupt, but just to add up to the list of what he's doing on historical levels, he also has the best plus minus when you compare how well the team is doing with him with how bad the team is doing when he's on the bench. His impact on the way the Nuggets are playing this season is the biggest in NBA history. So once again, the biggest in 76 years. And the Joker didn't come out to joke after his first MVP campaign. And even though we are talking only about the European players, you know, in this conversation, we only have one player that would jump in, and that is Joel Embiid. And even even in the discussion of like the MVP of the entire league and not just in the European context, I still have Nikola Jokic number one.
Well, I will keep my selection for the NBAS episode since we talking.
Man, people don't even know what NBAS is, so yeah.
I think some of the people that are listening are Lithuanians and they know, and they hopefully will listen our century episode of NBAS podcast that is coming out the same day, so I won't spoil it for them, but I just say that Joel Embiid made an incredible case for the MVP too. But if we come back to Nikola Jokic, some arguments could be, well, Giannis is the better player. Yes, I probably agree with that, but it's the MVP is regular season award, and Nikola Jokic, even in defensive metrics, where he had insanely good impact to his team in regular season. His teammates were completely below. Most of them were below average for their position because they didn't have Jamal Murray, they didn't have Michael Porter Jr. So Monte Morris had to play bigger role than he probably deserved. He's a good player. A lot of rookies and vets needed to step up and play bigger role. And still, Denver Nuggets have 47 wins, 32 losses, and Bucks and Sixers have 48 wins and 30 losses. So outcome is quite similar. Of course, Bucks has the better ratings of performing, but and they are a better team. But Drew Holiday is playing incredible season too. So you don't have player near the same caliber playing.
Yeah, but we have discussed this in previous years. It is this paradox that building a good team around your player really diminishes the chances of the player to win an MVP title. It's that but he has better teammates, so this guy is better because he plays well with these like lower tier players compared to the other team. But so it's a bit of a paradox. But
I would agree. I'm agreeing with you on that. And if Giannis would play on Phoenix Suns, he would be my MVP this season.
Why? Because he would play with the best players.
No, like if he would be the reason of the Phoenix Suns success, like not just drop him in with Devin Booker. Like, okay, if Milwaukee Bucks would perform like Phoenix Suns performs this season, then Giannis Antetokounmpo would be my MVP, because the margin of team's performance due to their star player would be much more significant than it's right now. And the things that Nikola Jokic is doing with this squad, how he's managing to make efficient offense by himself is absolutely incredible, and I have no reason other than maybe defensive eye test put Giannis above him. But as I said, Nikola Jokic during this season has amazing defensive number, and his defensive box plus minus, sorry, is better than any other players in the NBA. So
yeah, I mean, according to Cleaning the Glass, when he's playing, the Nuggets outscore opponents in per 100 possessions by 8.6, and when he's sitting on the bench, they get wrecked by 10.1. Yeah. So it's to compare it to like the regular season results of this season of the entire league. When he plays, the Nuggets are as good as the Suns. When he doesn't, the Nuggets are as good as the Houston Rockets. So the drop-off is just incredible. And
Wow, yeah.
that is one of the arguments. But of course, we can make a plenty, and we could spend like the next 15 or 20 minutes just discussing who could or couldn't or should or shouldn't or would or wouldn't be the MVP this season concerning the European players. But we have quite a lot of topics to discuss, and we have quite a lot of conversation left.
And this topic will be discussed by bunch of other NBA podcasts and TV shows and etc. But some of the other topics that we are going to touch today won't be talked by anyone. And next award I have is Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Shall we go down this route?
Well, of course, and I believe that we have.
It's pretty much straightforward. It
should be the first two players. I believe that are just have separated themselves from the pack quite significantly, and the number 2 European Rookie of the Year and the number 1 should not really raise a lot of questions for us or to our listeners.
And disparity between them is also quite clear.
Oh, yes.
So Franz Wagner is the Rookie
Definitely.
of the Year, and like a lot of drafts, the way Franz Wagner performed this season, I would see him being in talk for the Rookie of the Year award. Right now, he's not in that conversation because of the other outstanding performances this season, and also because he's playing for Orlando Magic, the probably one of the least attractive markets right now for media to hype up the player. And second one is Alperen Şengün.
Yes,
I would say
also without doubt.
I would say he. I wouldn't say he exceeded the expectations, but he performed as well as one could have expected. It's hard to evaluate the input of him due to the badness of team that he's playing right now, but I think probably he's having better season than his teammate Jalen Green overall. Like
And his teammate? Alperen Şengün. Okay. I was thinking about France. I'm sorry.
No, like better season is hardcore, but I think he's shown more upside during this season than Green.
I wouldn't agree to that.
Okay.
No, because Jalen Green is really raw, and he spent his the year after high school, instead of going to the NCAA, he went to the G League. Well, the G League, I mean, I don't mean to like insult anyone, but the level of play in G League and also the philosophy in the G League and just the goals that they set for the players, even though it used to be called the developmental league, I wouldn't call it the best place for a young player to develop, maybe his skills, maybe his physical attributes, but not his general awareness, not his general IQ, his understanding of the game. The G League is a different animal, and it's all about individual stats, all about just putting the ball in the basket. And I don't even know, like, do they try to implement some complicated like plays, like get some double off-ball screens and stuff?
The teams that have clear parental teams guiding them, for example, whichever team is Utah's Jazz
the
daughter
Salt Lake
team,
City Stars,
yes, and 905 Raptors team. I'm sure that they playing the same system, because why I know about Salt Lake City Stars, because when Schiller became coach of the Žalgiris, a lot of topics were written about how Schiller is helping Utah Jazz team develop, because he's implementing exact same system as Utah Jazz plays during the NBA regular season. So in that way, when you need to take out the G League player from that team, he can fit right in, let's say, in that rotation.
Name me one player that the Utah Jazz have brought up from their G League team. I mean, it's just theoretical. It all sounds really nice and dandy in theory.
I could name you some Toronto Raptors players.
Yeah, but of course, I also could. They are the poster child of the developmental system that actually works and that actually helps you to sort of get the players ready to play the way that the main team, if I can call it that, plays in the actual NBA. But the Salt Lake City Stars, like alumni who have joined the Utah Jazz and really made an impact there. Like straight from my mind, I couldn't come up.
I think Royce O'Neal played some games before. No, he played one. So it's
well, it's a really good system. He only needed one game.
I'm just speaking about when you said that they are not making any plays. I know for the fact that they are trying to make them. I'm not saying that it's working really well or etc. But the league in itself is in really early stages of development, and we're seeing a lot of an opportunity for NBA prospects to come there to play first year and etc. There, I think NBA has big plans for this league, and after 10 years. Maybe you won't be right, but right now you are.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be called the Idaho Stampedes, and it was not only affiliated with the Utah Jazz, but with other teams as well. CJ Miles played 8 games, like in his second season after being drafted by the Jazz. Patty Mills played in his rookie year, 5 games with the Idaho Stampede, averaging 25.6 points per game. They had Luke Babbitt there twice, and they had Will Barton, who played only 4 games there. Well, you know, it's a discussion and a topic for another day.
Yeah, like we really.
I really love the side notes that become the main notes.
And the reason we talked about it was Jalen Green. So what I really wanted to read, there's amazing Twitter account called Hater Muse. You of course need to take all the tweets with grain of salt, because otherwise you can be easily triggered. But just stats about Jalen Green. Worst defensive rating in the NBA.
But this is a team effect.
Please. Please, grain a bunch of salt, please. Second worst since NBA merger. Opponents shooting 54% when guarded by Jalen, worst in the league. Opponents shooting 8% better than normal field goal percentage, worst in the league. Can't lock up anything, including Rookie of the Year. So yes, I know that Jalen Green had really rough start of the season, and right now he's becoming more of a player that was expected of him before the season. So, but that still doesn't diminishes Alperen Şengün's impact on the Rockets, and he's clear number 2.
Yeah, you know why the Russians cannot read Twitter? Because they don't have a grain of salt to do it with. I'm sorry, I could not resist. The third player, which is a very... I cannot even say that it is a very interesting conversation.
Because there was 3 candidates overall that I know of.
Oh, okay. So your third player you mentioned before we started the episode, that it's a different one than I have on my list.
Yes, but wait. Isn't Omar Yurtseven eligible for this award?
Because he should be. I believe that he didn't play in his first season.
Yes, so then...
Like he got drafted earlier, if I'm not mistaken. He wasn't drafted, but he entered the league in 2020, but he only debuted in 2021.
So he's clear number 3 then.
Okay.
Yes,
I mean,
because other 3 players from that I had, it was Santi Aldama, that I know you had also.
Yes, I picked him
Usman
number 3.
Garuba, who had, in my opinion, really underwhelming season when we're talking about Houston Rockets. I was expecting he will be playing the bigger role in that team. And Sandro Mamukelashvili. So out of those 3 players, I have Mamukelashvili.
Man, we are the only people on the planet, I swear to God, the only people on the planet who are discussing, well, you know, Santi Aldama, Mamukelashvili.
Mamukelashvili is really showing some potential. Like he has highest PER of those 3 players. He's a lefty, he's tall, and he can shoot from 3-pointers. So I believe that Sandro Mamukelashvili will receive a non-minimum NBA contract in his career.
Okay,
this is my statement over here.
That is a very good line to draw. Which one of these players will actually receive a non-minimal deal in his career? I'm not guaranteed about Santi Aldama whatsoever, but I will still leave him on the list just to sort of stick with my opinion, even though I'm not extremely inflexible about it.
But Yurtseven is third, yes? Like he's playing
I'll
out of
put Santi
nowhere.
Aldama there. I don't know why. Maybe.
Okay,
I don't know. I don't know.
We talked a lot about them in our inaugural episode, those three players. So if you, like, not much things changed since then.
Yeah, and maybe that is why that was one of the reasons why it felt like, because Omer Yurtseven had this wonderful stretch when the Heat had just lost
players.
all their centers to injury. They had no Bam Adebayo, they had no Dwayne Dedman, and so yeah, Yurtseven was thrown in the starting lineup. He put up some stats, and those stats are keeping his averages higher than the other players that we have just discussed. But those averages also reach 5.4 points and a similar amount of rebounds. So
yeah, he's still better than Sandro Mamukelashvili, though. So
yeah, his stats are, but
maybe Sandro needs to be better than Omer Yurtseven.
that is the message that I will carry out with me from this episode.
So the next group of players that we're going to talk about are of much higher quality, and it's Defensive Player of the Year awards. What's yours, Rokas?
Okay.
You want to start? I would like to start from the top.
From the top.
This one, yeah.
Okay, from the top. Number one, Rudy Gobert.
Okay, nice.
I mean, it's still Rudy Gobert. I wouldn't vote for him for the DPOY of the entire league, but come on now. I mean, he's the linchpin of the Utah Jazz defense. They have only the 12th best defense when it comes to defensive rating this season, but the main reason for that is that Rudy Gobert missed quite a few games. So yeah, he's still really, really good on defense, and I would like to put somebody like higher than him, but that would really be a stretch, and I would only do that just to despite Rudy Gobert in some ways, or despise. Excuse me for using the wrong word.
Well, I stretched, and actually
that's what she said.
But I stretched with a player that stretches better than any other player in the league, so I think that's fine.
No, that would be a nomination, man.
Giannis is my DPOI, basically because Bucks stayed decent on the defense, despite Brook Lopez being out. So, and also Giannis is better. Like that's of course that's like least important criteria here, because we're talking about regular season. But when a lot players are tied, in my view, in regular season, I use the play of defensive abilities as a tiebreaker.
But that is, that's a weird thing, because we are talking about regular season awards.
I agree with you,
and we have mentioned this and sort of stuck with it.
Yeah, but I really couldn't. Like it was like one. I for this episode we were preparing like we had the idea of this episode for 4 or so something days, and this award was the one that kept me awake in the middle of the night. I'm waking up to watch some games and no, it's definitely Rudy Gobert. He's like carrying just, and then like you watch some video, watch 1 quarter of Bucks game. No, man, it has to be Giannis, and it was. Like in this, what's the word?
Scales?
Yeah, scales, like on really similar weights. And I just chose Giannis. I think he's an incredible defensive player. And maybe you can call that voter fatigue. I won't be offended by that. This is my vote, and it goes to Giannis. And I have a question for you. I believe Giannis is second player in your list?
Yes, he's absolutely the second player of my list, and I completely didn't forget him when writing down those 3 players, and I absolutely did not delete anyone just now to correct my list.
But is he in separate tier for you between Rudy Gobert?
No.
It's the same
not
tier.
At all. Yeah, I mean... Yeah. there's another thing with Rudy Gobert. We discussed the crazy stats.
Oh my God, it's
I mean, I looked
incredible.
up. It's
like bullying.
If you filter out the entire NBA to only have the players who spend at least 30 minutes on the court during a game, and you can actually look up passing stats, like how many passes does that player make per game and how many passes does he receive. And you have like Nikola Jokic was quite fun because I believe he makes like 65, oh, I'm sorry, he receives or gets like 65 passes and he makes like 75. And for a brief moment, I was like, what the hell? How the hell? And, yeah, the bloody throw-ins. That's also a pass that you are making. So, yeah. But, it's the highest numbers are like 70, 60. And like a lot of players are like in between 50 and 70 is like the whole first page, the first 50 players. When you sort out by passes received. And Rudy Gobert is at the bottom of the list with 17. I mean, 1 and 7, 30 minutes.
Your
you
main
run
center
around and you're just being ignored.
Vertical spacing.
Absolutely. I mean, what the hell? I know that they had beef with like Donovan Mitchell.
And Donovan Mitchell averages 2.3 passes per game.
Yeah. To Rudy Gobert.
And he is making 3 turnovers per game. So the same Twitter account, Hater Muse, made amazing insight. Donovan Mitchell passes to other team more often than he passes to Rudy Gobert,
which is just incredible. I mean, maybe Quinn Snyder also sort of just prefers his perimeter
Utah
players
Jazz
to
is
be
one of the better offenses in the regular season.
They are the best this season.
This is the right decision then?
Well,
just stick to the defense?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, maybe. But, you know,
it's still incredible.
When I read that, I actually felt genuine, like, sympathy for Gobert. And maybe that's why I wanted to put him here, just to acknowledge that, yeah, I mean, he's a positive player. He makes a positive impact.
Well, there was a new that showed on my phone screen from ESPN. News, sorry, not new. About Dallas Mavericks trying to pursue for recently extended Rudy Gobert during this offseason. And with the rumors...
You mean the past off-season or the next off-season?
The upcoming off-season, yeah. And the rumors that are coming out of the locker room about the beef between Mitchell and Rudy Gobert and these kind of stats will show that, and of course the performances in the season itself, like something is not working with the team. They are playing great offense. They have one of the better defensive centers in the league, but they still don't perform the way they should. And I believe the collapse in the playoffs is imminent.
And it will just spell doom for Utah Jazz as constructed of now. I've heard some listened to and read quite a few articles, listened to quite a few podcast episodes where, a lot of people are just basically, presuming that, the Utah Jazz, if they don't reach the Western Conference Finals, well, they're out. They will trade something. They will just maybe not necessarily blow the entire thing up, but Rudy Gobert will most likely be the first player to be traded, and they will try to build around Donovan Mitchell in some different ways. But there are quite a few rumors that Donovan Mitchell himself might demand a trade from the Utah Jazz after this season if they disappoint in the playoffs. And I've heard a really, really good comparison for this team is the Lob City Clippers. They were a good team. They had really nice offense. They had a good defensive center who only caught lobs and was athletic. And, well, Rudy Gobert is a better defensive player than DeAndre Jordan ever was.
Better.
But,
as good on offense,
the same sort of misfit personalities, the sort of underwater problems that you just sort of feel that the team has. And all of these obstacles that just do not allow them to reach their full potential. The Utah Jazz of 21-22 and the past, 2 or 3 seasons are really comparable to the Lob City Clippers of like mid-20 teens or whatever it's called. And I felt that it was a good comparison. But
both teams don't have a team. One didn't, other don't have any wing that could defend whatsoever. So that's
also another thing.
My third, I had actually a bunch of players written out here. So ones that didn't make the cut is Ivica Zubac, because his metrics just aren't that good as I expected to be. OG Anunoby, because his metrics are good, but he played not enough games for me this season.
Oh, okay.
And it's difficult to filter out which player makes a better impact for Raptors defensive outcome. It's difficult. And the third player that didn't make the top 3 was the one that I would have expected to be locked in the European top 3 before the season.
I would guess that I have him on my number 3.
Yeah, it's Clint Capella.
Oh, no, I don't. But it's very close. Yeah, geographically, it's hard to be closer.
Yes, so the one that I have on number 3 is the same that you have. It's Jakob Poeltl.
Yes, Jakob Poeltl, number 3, really having a great season. He had an injury at the beginning of the second half, or in the mid-season, in mid-season. But now he's back, and yes, I also have him number 3, and also. Now, this was one of the toughest bloody nominations or awards that really just got my head shaking with what the hell should I do with this? But I have Jakob Poeltl as my most improved European player of the season.
Same here.
Oh, nice.
And I agree with it being the most difficult award, because at the beginning I had Luka Doncic with question mark, maybe he improved, but not that much. And I have Osman with question mark, Willi Hernan Gomez just because he played better, but and Lauri Markkanen because he just established himself.
Yeah.
Again, OG Anunoby just because he played better, but
I considered each and every one of the players that you have just mentioned.
And 2 players that made my top 3 is both from the same team. Isaiah Hartenstein and Ivica Zubac.
I was going back and forth between Ivica and Isaiah, statistically, and Ivica Zubac was good last year. He's not, we are maybe starting to appreciate him a little bit more. And yes, he got better, but also Tyronn Lue just built the system that really helps all of the players to just look better and just to perform more efficiently.
Kawhi and PG didn't play, so more points.
But he didn't really pick up that much more, that many more points.
Okay.
Ivica Zubac, 10.2 and 8.4 rebounds. Last season it was 9 points and 7.2 rebounds. So it's not an astronomical jump, a huge leap.
That's why he's third.
Yeah, I put Isaiah Hartenstein on number 2.
Same.
Because, so you had Ivica at 3. I put Billy Hernan Gomez on number 3 because
fair enough.
I was, Ivica Zubac is an established NBA player. Billy Hernan Gomez, before the season began, I was not really sure that he has a long-term place in the NBA.
I was sure he doesn't.
Yeah,
actually,
I was closer to that opinion, but now, he looks a serviceable backup big. He's not a really good rim protector, but he has his own skills on offense, and he had some great games this year for the New Orleans Pelicans.
Arguably playing the best season since his rookie year, and of course, he's averaging only 16 minutes, which is less than his rookie season and less than year before at New Orleans Pelicans. But of course, New Orleans Pelicans has Jonas Valanciunas right now, and Jackson Hayes is getting better role, so he's basically third big man of the team, with Herb Jones also taking some front court minutes. And
they have Zion maybe coming back. So his spot is not guaranteed long term on the Bells.
But a lot of team that doesn't have a backup center could pick up him. I'm sure that he will receive some kind of contract.
Some offers, and some attention. Let me check if he becomes a free agent after the season. No, he doesn't. He has a deal with the Pelicans until 2024. Which is partially guaranteed for 2.6 million is the highest amount of this steady rising deal that he signed in 2020.
So the last award is Sixth Man of the Year. Rokas, what do you have? This one was quite hard too, wasn't it?
No, actually, I thought that it would be harder, but the sixth European Man of the Year actually gives a completely different meaning to it.
Sex symbol.
Yeah, the sixth Player of the Year. So I have Bogdan Bogdanovic at
Same
number
here.
1.
Second one, his teammates.
No.
I have Danilo Gallinari as second.
That's actually a good shout.
And I thought, well, how can two teammates be for contention for
You
Sixth Man of the Year? But
Lou Williams and Montrezl.
No problem for that. So
really, a really good argument. I had Isaiah Hartenstein at number 2.
3.
And at number 3, I have another German player. I have Maxi Kleber.
That was... I have no idea why I haven't considered him. He probably would be my number 3 then. With respect to Isaiah Hartenstein, I don't know how I missed him, because I ignored him on MIP because he was good a couple of seasons ago already. And it's really good pick. Do you want to elaborate on that or go to all NBA teams?
I just want to check if any European player has ever won the Sixth Man of the Year, and the answer is no. Not a single... Oh, I'm sorry. I had to go back to the old school days. Early 90s, Detlef Schrempf won it twice. So
well, it's not the first time that one of the persons on this podcast forgot Detlef Schrempf.
And also, Toni Kukoc won it in 95-96. But like in this millennia, we haven't had a European winning the Sixth Man of the Year. We had a couple of South Americans, and we had one technically Asian player winning, or at least, an Asian citizen winning the award. Do you want to take it as a trivia, or should I just name those and we can move on?
Well, it's not Jeremy Lin. No. Asian.
You could start with the South Americans. They're much easier.
It's like in this millennia, yes. So Manu Ginobili.
Yes. They actually won it back to back. Manu won it in 2007-8, and in 2006-7 there was another South American winning the award.
And I always had like a bone to pick when I was a kid with the Sixth Man of the Year award going to Manu Ginobili, whose overall on the NBA Live was 87, and the starting shooting guard, whoever it was on probably was,
who was it back then?
Not Bruce Bowen. He was small forward, but like whoever was the starting shooting guard on those seasons when Ginobili was perennial Sixth Man of the Year, like winner or
candidate. He only won it once.
Candidate. I always got mad that he was voted in as Sixth Man of the Year, but that doesn't matter.
And his teammate who started more games was Michael Finley.
Oh, okay.
So it's quite, quite a big name. He was 34 by the time, but
that's old age. Actually, Curry's 34 right now, for example. How the time flies.
Holy man.
Okay, I have no idea actually.
That was he played for the Phoenix Suns.
So Barbosa.
Yeah, Leandro Barbosa, and the Asian citizen won the award last year. Jordan Clarkson is of Filipinian descent.
Yes,
he plays
was
for
in all the charts.
For the Gilas Pilipinas, and
he was in all the charts that I filtered out, like non-United States player and yada yada. Okay, All NBA first team center.
Wow, All NBA European teams. This is also a topic that I would be surprised to see anyone discussing this. At least in English. Maybe
but it's an amazing topic. It's
it is a good one.
It's amazing teams. I think this is the best.
The best that we could come up with, like if we compare this year to any other year before.
I think it's best.
Maybe. I would not be 100% sure, but it's likely. Yeah, if we would have to do it in like 2002, we wouldn't even have 15 players most likely. So
well, if the like whatever is alternative of COVID that will come up again. We have a
let's say the bubonic plague.
For the bubonic plague, we have a series of podcasts to draft, not draft, but to elect all NBA European team to every single season. So basically,
have we done an all European draft of all time? Yeah, we have. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That would have been a fun topic.
You have Grajauskas in your starting five.
But no, it wasn't strictly European, or was it? I believe I just drafted Grajauskas because of some other reasons. But okay, we'll check it and we'll see. So, all European, all NBA, first team. Your center is, of course, Nikola Jokic.
Forward is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
The guards, well, this is where it gets interesting. And before we reveal our selections, may I just say that even though when it comes to selecting all NBA teams, we have agreed to use the basketball reference play-by-play stat of how many minutes has a player spent playing every position. In this case, I used 3 players who have not even reached 40% in the position because there was just nobody to choose from.
Okay, I'm not mad from you at you for that.
Yeah, and that was like this exception came up when considering the guards, because there are not
they are tropical birds in Antarctica.
Yeah, and we have plenty of penguins playing the center position, plenty of European bigs. We really left had to leave some off the list.
Dragic fucked everything up by not playing basically all of the season, because he would slot right in really well, but I couldn't pick him because he just didn't figure it out.
All right, one of the guards, ain't nobody gonna argue, Luka Doncic.
What's your second guard in the first team?
My second guard on the all-European, all-NBA first team, and it's hard for me myself to believe it, but it's Evan Fournier.
Well, I have Evan Fournier. Sorry.
At
Sorry
small
for
forward?
that. No, at second team. At first team, I have Bogdan Bogdanovic as my starting shooting guard, and I have Bojan Bogdanovic as my starting small forward.
This is interesting, yeah, because I thought about it. I compared the stats, and there was also one thing that we didn't mention in one of the previous episodes, or at least I didn't mention, which I found absolutely astonishing, but just forgot it, like lost it in all my chaotic notes that I have. But throughout his career, playing for Alba Berlin, he never missed a single game with injury. Playing in Michigan in the NCAA, he never missed a single game with injury. In his rookie season in the NBA, Franz Wagner didn't miss a single game to injury. He's like the German Iron Man, the German AC Green, growing up right in front of our eyes. And his stats, even if you compare it to Bojan Bogdanovic, who I have as my small forward on the second team, Franz Wagner is my all-European, all-NBA first-team small forward.
Well, there's 2 players. Well, I should push up Franz Wagner to the second team, because I actually at the beginning of the podcast I had him in my third team. All NBA, because I had Bojan Bogdanovic at small forward in the first team and OG Anunoby in the second team, and I'm sure that you wouldn't argue that OG Anunoby is the better player than Franz Wagner right now but he played 40-something games this season. So
and Franz Wagner didn't miss a single one, at least yet. They have 4 games to go.
That's quite important in regular season.
I believe it also stands correct for like his youth tournaments that he played for the German like under 16, under 18 teams. He's just been, they say availability is the best ability.
Yes.
But I've been available to play for the NBA for my entire life, but I wouldn't say that it's the best ability that people would pick me up for. But yes, that is really the case astonishing stat.
For Bojan Bogdanovic is amazing. He's the best open 3-point shooter this season, or one of the best. I don't have the stat right now in front of me. He's scoring 18 points per game, and he's really, really unlocking that amazing Utah Jazz offense. And I actually had no doubt. I think he's higher tier player than Franz Wagner right now is. He's playing for the better team and delivering quite similar stats. So.
I can't argue with that, but yeah, that's just
where
my
are
sympathy
different
went.
players.
I will be the Hugh B. Brown voting for Fred VanVleet in Finals MVP when the Raptors won. That's my Hugh B. Brown vote. So all European, all NBA, second team, Bogdan Bogdanovic at one of the guard positions. He also played only 36% of his playing time as a guard. He spent more time playing as a forward this season, 64 to be exact. My second guard on the All-European, All-NBA second team is OG Anunoby. With only 31% played at guard, I know, but otherwise it's really hard to find guards to choose from.
I like this layout from you because I want OG in my second team, and he could play shooting guard. He's playing shooting guard right now in Toronto Raptors lineups over and over again. When everyone's healthy, like you can see a bunch of lineups with Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, and Achua or Chris Boucher. It's completely not out of the question. It's not like Nikola Jokic, who never played power forwards. His departure of Mason Plumlee for
and Yusuf Nurkic.
Yes, because we have Ricky Rubio, who basically played less than half of a season, and it's really
34 games played. Yeah, and that is a very good illustration of the narrow selection when it comes to guard positions and European players in the NBA. To finish off my second team, I had Bojan Bogdanovic at one of the forward spots. I had Domantas Sabonis at the other. When he moved to Sacramento, he played 80% of his minutes at center, but he played more than half of his time as a power forward for the Indiana Pacers this year. He qualifies. He's even listed as a center/forward. And I had Rudy Gobert as my second team center.
So my second team, after your insights that you provided, is Rudy Gobert at center, Domantas Sabonis at power forward, Franz Wagner at small forward, OG Anunoby at shooting guard, and Evan Fournier as point guard, which is not...
you don't necessarily have to go for like small forwards or like point guards and shooting guards. It's just guards.
But just like imagine this team
on
the court. I don't think that Evan Fournier is worse point guard than Dennis Schroeder right now. I would
actually pick Bogdan Bogdanovic over both to be my point guard.
Bogdan is in my first
he's in your first team. So
I wouldn't. It's not how it works, Well, Bogdan, come to the third team because we need you there more. We have Luka on the first team. But you will have the ball
in your hands much more. Come on, man. You'll love it. You'll love playing with OG Anunoby.
And so the third team, center of your third team, say it.
My third team, all European, all NBA center is Jonas Valanciunas.
Same here, and he's accompanied by Kristaps Porzingis at power forward.
At power forward, absolutely right. Because and I mean, we had a lot of centers, really a lot of centers to choose from. Like
Nikola
Vucevic didn't have that bad of a season,
Clint
even
Capella.
though we presume that he just like fell off and rolled down the cliff. No, he's still a productive player. Yeah, we had Clint Capella. Yeah, we have Jakob Poeltl. Yeah, we have like a lot of players to choose from. But JV, when it comes to the stat that I have mentioned, that the Nuggets were plus 0.6 and minus 10 point something. So Jokic has a plus 18 like impact when it comes to score impact when you play or you don't. Jonas Valanciunas is, if I'm not mistaken, number 11 in the entire league on that list, not just as a center, in the entire league. He's the best, the biggest positive impact having Pelicans player of the season. It's not CJ McCollum or like Brandon Ingram. No, it's Jonas Valanciunas. If Valanciunas sits, they get smacked in the face. If Valanciunas plays, they are smacking fools left and right. So yeah, his stats have been incredible. He had this just insane shooting month of November, and yeah, I mean, he's still improving. He's still one of the most hardworking centers, and still like getting better, like with these small steps maybe, but for us who have followed him for his entire career, even before he went to the NBA, you see the ways that he improves. You see the way that he helps the team in like win or lose scenarios. And yeah, it's, you might call it a homer pick, but I'm completely fine with selecting him as a third All-European, All-NBA team center.
It's really amazing for me that Pelicans basically clinched the play-in spot after the dreadful start of the season.
What, they started with 1-13?
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I'm
it
not
was
mistaken. Yeah.
But unfortunately, I don't know what needs to happen for them to beat Clippers and Timberwolves.
Maybe JV smacking Karl Anthony Towns.
But yeah, no, on the other hand, though,
no, but that would be a dope matchup.
No, it would.
I would love to see the Pelicans like beating the Spurs or the Lakers, most likely the Spurs, and then instead of the Clippers facing the Timberwolves just for the matchup of Jonas Valanciunas against Karl Anthony Towns.
And
that
just
would
like
be
Pelican versus Wolf, you know.
Yeah, that's also nice. It's animalistic, man. It's a wild matchup.
Yeah, and with that wild matchup, Kristaps Porzingis power forward. Actually, he had quite decent season.
Yeah,
it was overshadowed. His performance was overshadowed by the trade in the middle of the season. But
and we also have the same thing as with Nikola Vucevic. But just because of different reasons. But you feel as if the player is just he's like just a quarter of the player that he used to be at his peak. No, he's still a very good NBA player.
Yeah, and. Narrative is a bitch on those occasions, like really, and I myself can catch myself just thinking that, he's washed, and he just had like one bad month, just and not the Porzingis, but a certain player. Just like, and even when you watch game, you see some few bad moments, and then you start like putting things according those moments. So you always need to...
Yeah, like I told you he was washed.
And at third forward and first guard, I have Turkish brothers, not brothers, but Furkan Korkmaz and Cedi Osman.
Cedi Osman.
Sorry, Cedi Osman. So Cedi Osman is my small forward, Furkan Korkmaz is my shooting guard.
Okay, that's interesting. I have Cedi Osman as one of the guards. He played 33% of his minutes as a shooting guard for the Cavaliers this season. I have Ricky Rubio as the other guard, with just only 34 games played, as we have mentioned before. But before his injury, he was having a bloody amazing season, and it's just such a shame.
I also put him there. Only two alternatives. One alternative there was Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, Schroeder and Dragic, maybe. It's just hard to find guards, I'm not talking about like serious a race between them three, but you just have to dig deep to really find some European guards in the NBA at this current moment. And the one player that I didn't mention, my third forward, well, why did I put the air quotes? I don't even know. My third forward is Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah, sorry, I completely I had him as a big man's and even though he doesn't play as a big man in his team as a main big man, so
he actually does after the injuries to both Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, and he is a 7-footer, or his height is 2 meters and 13 centimeters for those who don't measure their dick size in Fahrenheit.
So I I have also Lauri Markkanen as my third player and as my second forward and number 3 on the third team. A lot of thirds, and I just need to clinch either Chedi or Korkmaz, and it's Chedi.
Yeah, Chedi has had a good year, and Chedi he's been a sneaky good player for all these years for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, we do not talk about him a lot. Maybe that's also because we talked about him more when he was still playing with LeBron James. I believe it was only one season, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean, the man is really doing fine for himself, even though his best season statistically was his second year. That's really when LeBron left and he had his highest averages and highest playing time. Now he's coming off the bench, but he has carved out a role for himself, and he's a very good player, and a player that really sometimes surprises you with the things that you actually expect out of him. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just the general feeling that you get. Like, damn, that's Chedi Osman, and you think, like, damn, yeah, that's Chedi. I knew that he could do that, but somehow I still find myself like being positively entertained when I see him just dropping jump shots and dropping fire on the opponents.
Yeah, it's not Chedi Osman, it's Chedi Osman.
Yeah, man,
most definitely. And Cleveland Cavaliers are quite Eurocentric team. Do you think they will make playoffs?
That is a good question. Let me check the standings at the moment.
Because our third team is same. You convinced me, not convinced me, but you just pointed out like that I missed.
We actually had like 3 players that at least played for the Cavaliers this year. Well, Rubio is gone now. He's technically on the Pacers, but yeah, I mean, yeah, they have been, and
people are sure that he will come back to the Cavs though next year.
That would actually be
fans
pretty
are
cool.
basically making plans for him next season already. Well, we take back Ricky Rubio, and what else we have left on our salary sheet?
No, I believe they won't. They will lose in the play-in. I'm afraid so. They only have 3 games left. They have 2.5 games separating them from both Chicago Bulls and Toronto Raptors. They ain't climbing up.
No.
So they are in the 7th spot, and they will be most likely facing the Atlanta Hawks in the first playing game. If they win that, that's lovely and great and dandy. If they lose that, they will be facing the winner of the Charlotte Hornets Brooklyn Nets matchup, most likely, because mathematically the bottom 3 teams or the 8, 9, 10 seeds can still switch back and forth between one another. So yeah, it is a tough task. It is an uphill challenge for the Cavaliers, and it is really sad. But you know, they at least now they know that they do have a good team. They do have a playoff team, and if injuries would have not derailed their season, they would be in the playoffs, and they would be one of the biggest feel-good stories of the year in the NBA, and also from our Eurocentric point of view, because yeah, they have quite a few talented Europeans, and it's always fun to see Europeans doing well in the NBA.
It will be a Eurocentric matchup, Cavaliers against Hawks, 5 Europeans.
At least 5.
If not more.
Wait.
Bogdanovic, Gallinari, Capella, Osman, Markkanen.
Yeah, let me check the Cavs just to be sure that they don't have some other European players that we are not thinking about at the moment. And no, they don't. So yeah.
So our next episode probably will come after the play-ins, because the season ends quite shortly. And
it is
actually,
the 18th of April?
I believe so.
18th is when the playoffs already start. So the play-in will be in the week before the 18th of April.
Yeah. So it's really, really soon. I'm really glad we did this episode. It was really interesting.
It was much more fun than expected.
Yes.
When you consider that, damn, like Santi Aldamas, what the hell am I doing with my life? But then you sit down to talk about it and you find that, hey, well, this was quite entertaining.
Sandra,
again.
Please do not disappoint me and receive a lot of money in the NBA. I want you to be that stretch forward that next other championship team is looking for.
So, once again, thank you to everyone for tuning in. This has been NBA Accent. I wonder if we should change the name of the podcast, but we will discuss this in our free time. Well, thank you for everyone who is listening, who is watching, who is paying attention, and who is hopefully enjoying themselves and or even becoming angry because we didn't mention their favorite European player, whoever that might be. It's impossible. Yeah, we spoke about
all of them.
Yeah, man, it's hardly possible. So, Mykolas, Jankaitis, Rokas, Grajauskas, BasketNews.com. Much love from Vilnius, Lithuania, to everywhere and anywhere that you are. Peace out.